Alright, y'all, welcome back to the Snake Eyes. This is the Dollar Channel. This is your boy Snake Eyes, obviously, alright? Before we get started with today's video, as always, I need you to do a few things for me. I need you to like, comment, subscribe before I kick all y'all asses. Now, you already know what I do already. Follow me on both my social medias. Twitter's going to be Snake Eyes _dollar. The dollar as in Dame Dollar. Instagram, Snake Eyes _W dollar. A little slow on that one. And all lowercase, by the way. Okay? So, today's video is going to be an Eagles video. Alright, so I hope everybody's enjoying the work week, stuff like that. It's a couple things I didn't cover. The Indianapolis Colts preseason game, we joined practices, and today was the deadline, today here on this beautiful Tuesday, was the final deadline for the 53-man roster and all of the cuts, and I'll be having a conversation. Now, I want to really make this clear. I am not going through every goddamn name. I'm only going through names that if you're a real Eagles fan, you should know this name, you should know who this person is. I'm not going through every goddamn name. I'm only going through names that has some kind of recognition. I'm not going through like the fucking deepest part of the roster of a nigga that like has barely even been talked about, okay? So I'm going to go through with the names of people that were released or cut. And then obviously I could have waited to do a video until they officially made the practice squad. I don't know when that's going to take place, but we have a lot to discuss, and I got a lot of things on my plate right now, so we need to get this video done now, okay? First thing we'll have a conversation about is the Eagles and Colts joint practice. Alright, really business as usual. There was a small little skirmish with Kenneth Gainwell. It was like a late hit after the play or something like that. Jason Kelsey joined in, and he did his whatever, you know what I'm saying? That was small shit that blew over. We talk about the preseason game real quick, okay? So, Devin Allen, first time doing kickoff returns. And for the most part, well, not for the most part, he was only on kickoff returns. And literally, I heard this was his first time doing kickoff returns in like years. Which is scary to me, because you're not bringing this guy in to be a real wide receiver, right? And he is an Olympic runner. So you're using this guy based on his speed. So if you're not going to use him as a wide receiver, I'm not going to say he's not capable of catching the ball, but that's not really what he's here for. You know, Britton Covey, you know, some people feel like that, you know, they try to, a lot of Eagles fans, a lot of other content creators give the benefit of the doubt. I'm not giving Britton Covey the benefit of the doubt. Again, I am going to acknowledge that it's not entirely his fault. It is, some of it's on Michael Clay, some of it is on the offensive line and the way they scheme things, and then the personnel. But I'm going to be honest with you, Covey just not a good player to me. I'm sorry, y'all could say whatever y'all want to say. Oh, give him a chance, he's going to draft a free agent. No. You are in a very important position. You may not think about it because it's not the most kickoff return is not the most glamorous position unless you like a fucking Devin Hester or Deion Sanders, right? But traditionally, you know, quarterback's a glamorous position, wide receiver, running back, you know, like, you know, positions where you can make plays and gain popularity. But being a kickoff returner, unless you're the best of the best, is typically not a position of glamour, right? But it is a very important position because if you fuck up, you fumble the football, or you're not a good returner, you can make it much harder for your offense to drive down the field and score some points. Okay, and you can make it easier on the opposing defense. So special teams and being a kick returner is very important. And also, if you get a really good kick returner, if you happen to hit on one, you can actually he can actually score some points for you, which makes it easier for your offense. Now your offense don't have to go on the damn field because your kickoff returner is out here putting points on the board, right? So with Devin Allen, I'm a little bit concerned because he dropped the kickoff, which is that's not a good, you know, it's not a good sign. But again, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. They literally have not been working with him at all. He's just on the roster, just sitting there. Okay? And now that we're on special teams, I want to kind of skip ahead a little bit. So Britton Covey and Devin Allen have been cut. Britton Covey, I'm actually not upset because he's not very good. Okay? Devin Allen, on the other hand, he just had a 74-yard kick return. That shows you that literally all you got to do is practice with a nigga catching a fucking football, and he can literally be a top 5 kick returner in this league. He could be a legitimate Pro Bowl kick returner. You understand where I'm coming from? And then there was a lot of Eagles content creators that was upset because he didn't get, double duty on the punt return, and said that, maybe they were scared he was on a fumble, which I think is a valid excuse. But then again, it is the preseason. But, you want to, even though you're not going to be super competitive because obviously you don't have your guys starting and the preseason games don't technically count, it's always good to try to, maintain somewhat of a competitive edge. But when it comes to Devin Allen, I could understand the argument that he should have done double duty with punt return and kick return, just to see who, what kind of player can this player really be a returner, or was it just like a flash in the pan kind of play? I said play, I'm dumb as fuck. But anyway, so they cut Devin Allen. So we're without a kick returner. We have no kick returners on this roster, okay? And everybody else said, well, Greg Ward. You know what I don't understand about Eagles fans? And this confuses the shit out of me, okay? I have no doubt that Greg Ward is a good receiver. He's a really good receiver. He made a lot when Carson Wentz was, barely getting over the hill, and he had to play with the back end of the roster because guys were suffering injury. He had to play with third and fourth stringers as starting wide receivers. Greg Ward came up and he played pretty good, and ever since then, including the Super Bowl victory, he's been very active. Doug Peterson did a really good job of utilizing his talent and his fullest potential. Nick Sirianni, on the other hand, I don't particularly blame him, because you had AJ Brown last year, Devontae Smith, Quez, and I believe you had, I hope I say this guy's name right. Zach Martin may not be his name. I forgot this. It's Zach something.
Dumbass.
I can't remember this guy's name. Whatever. But y'all know who I'm talking about. He was an other wide receiver. So really there was not a ton of, maybe they could have used him on some plays, but Sirianni just didn't use Greg Ward. Right? This time around I'm thinking it's different. Right? Because you don't have that, that, I don't remember this guy. I'm just going to say Zach, because I know for a fact his name is Zach, okay? So you don't have this guy Zach anymore, right? So wouldn't it make sense to have okay, let's just say, you know what, I don't want Devin Allen to be my kick returner, punt returner, whatever, right? And Britton Covey's trash, so there's no reason to have him on the roster at this point. Okay, fine. But you don't even keep Greg Ward. These players can be added to the practice squad, but if I'm not mistaken, they can be claimed off waivers and shit like that. So, I'm very confused. You know what? I'm gonna hold off on that conversation. But let's just say this: I'm very confused about how the Philadelphia Eagles front office and how Sirianni and these coaches really have been treated. It's like, on one end, it's like, okay, we're acting like a competent organization that's capable of making damn near the right decision every time. And on the other end, we just do some shit that's like, yo, like what? Like who in the hell, what in the hell in your righteous ass mind made you think that this was a good idea to do? Right? If the fans can see this shit is stupid, how come you guys who are, you guys are front and center of this whole shit, you're watching everything unfold, you're watching everything happen in first person, okay? Third person, because obviously it's not them. But you're watching this happen, you're watching these things take place. You know what players are playing well and what players are not playing well, okay? There's no way in the hell you can sit up here and do the shit that you guys have done, right? Cutting Devin Allen, when all he needs to do, really, in my honest opinion, is practice catching the football, which should have been something that should have been worked on during training camp. I genuinely don't understand this. Why wasn't this shit? This is basic ass shit. Why wasn't this worked on in training camp? You telling me this whole time, okay, so you're not confident in Britton Covey being your returner because you cut the nigga. Okay, fine. That makes sense. He's trash. But you telling me you didn't try anybody else as your replacement, let alone Britton Covey? Not sorry, let alone Devin Allen? You gotta be shit like I don't understand. This pisses me off. I'm mad as fucking Howard because he put this nigga Michael Clay back as the special teams coordinator, knowing this nigga was fucking horrible. And then I don't know what Sirianni's doing. I don't know what these niggas. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. And I'm not going to try to make this a very negative video, but it's pissing me off because it's like, if you want to be a competent organization, then you stay being a competent organization. But if you want to go do stupid ass shit like every other team in the league, then do that. But don't sit up there acting like that, okay, we're going to be a organized. Now listen, I'm not telling you that mistakes can't happen. I'm not telling you that mistakes won't be made. Of course we're going to sign a player, think that they're going to amount to something, then it doesn't happen. You know, mistakes are allowed to make, but when you do some shit that's like, okay, this is obvious, it's obvious that you should move in the opposite direction, and you do something different, it doesn't make any sense to me. So maybe they're on a practice squad, but Covey is cut, Devin Allen is cut, and Greg Ward is cut, which, you know, I don't know what to say. I really don't. Because the way Howie Roseman was acting, he was bringing a bunch of receivers in here. So I'm assuming he wanted depth at receiver. You know this nigga signed instead? I'm going to have to look at this name. It's Albert something, but I'm going to read it off anyway because it just came out. I don't know this nigga's name. You can't relate to me anyway. His name is Albert Okwegbanam. I'm not going to pronounce that shit again. I'm going to call him Albert, okay? So we signed this guy named Alberto, from the Denver Broncos. He had a really good preseason finale game. And also he's a guy that I think like ran like damn near a 4.5. He's like 6'5", 260 pounds. He came from Missouri. He was productive. He was a two-time all-second team SEC. So he was a pretty good player. It's just that for whatever reason they didn't see any value in him, but he's been really showing out in this preseason, especially that last game. So you do that, so like this is what confuses me, right? It's not that it's a bad pickup, right? But why the fuck would you? Why are you keeping 4 tight ends? Why are you keeping 4 tight ends? So you bring all these receivers in here, right? But you bring in 4 tight ends. I don't like. So you only got 4 wide receivers, which I think is going to limit your offense. I think this offense is really good with having guys operate in space. But you only got 4 wide receivers to do it, okay? So only 4 wide receivers on the team. So if anybody gets injured for whatever reason, you don't have any depth at the wide. You don't even have a 5th wide receiver. That's basic. But you get a 4th tight end, which at this moment we actually don't need. I mean, you could have put fucking Tyree Jackson on the practice squad if he was going to do that. By the way, Tyree Johnson is also cut. Makes sense. You know, he's been injured. He did really good in this preseason, in that especially with the Colts game. But for some odd reason, you know, not really some odd reason. He's been injured a lot, and you can't really develop him as he should if he's not even being able to play. You know what I'm saying? The best ability is availability, and that for the most part it wasn't it. Okay? So yeah, and you know, the whole shit is confused me. Let me tell you some other shit that just happened too, man. Okay, so quickly about the tight end side, I want to get over this, right? So it doesn't actually make sense to me. So you bring in a receiver, so I'm assuming you want depth at the receiver position. That's what I'm assuming. That's what I'm under the assumption. That's why you're breaking all these damn receivers. Okay? But you end up going with 3 tight ends? 4 tight ends? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Because it doesn't. But whatever. I'm going to move on from that. So I want to go back to special teams real quick. So we cut Aaron Sippos. Okay? I really don't understand. Like, Matt Ariza's out there. Matt Ariza can punt. And you don't pick him up for whatever the fucking reason is. I don't understand it. He's clear to these allegations that was brought upon him. He's clear. There's an obvious need at punter, right? Zettner is ass. When you cut Zettner, which I'm happy his motherfucking ass is gone, because that nigga's garbage. You cut Zettner. Okay, you tired of Sippos' shit. Bring Ariza in the fucking building. I mean, like, you know, like, again, this is what pisses me off, because it's like, if you're going to be a goddamn organization that's like, you know what, we're going to be the leading light in the NFL for how front offices should run. You know, Howie Capone, you know, I gave you the nickname, but, like, I'm thinking you going to be shooting and killing other people. You up here shooting your own goddamn, you know, your other gangsters or whatever. But whatever, that was according to, that was forced. But here's the reality situation. It's like, why the fuck would you cut a punter instead of you thinking, oh, we don't have a punter. Let me go actually bring a real punter in this motherfucker. You sign a fourth tight end, which you don't need. Who's you going to replace? Calcaterra? No. Stahl? No. Stahl actually, you're not the fastest, but he's decent at getting some routes and making some quick catches to move the chains, and he's a really damn good blocker. I don't know how good of a blocker this guy is, right? I do not understand it. I don't understand it. And then I gotta talk about this thing real quick for the secondary. We signed Isaiah Rodgers. Here's the problem with that. Isaiah Rodgers is a very good player. He's like top 5 in PFF. He got like an 82 grade according to PFF. He's a really good corner. Excuse me. And also, he actually can do kick returns. But he can't fucking play. You telling me you couldn't wait to do this trade maybe next year? You telling me you can't pick up another solid corner next year? You had to go pull the trigger on somebody who can't fucking play? Make it make sense. Please. Because let's think about it like this. Where the fuck is he going to fit in? Because I think Josh Jobe is going to get better year after year. I don't know why they re-signed. I don't know why they signed Goodrich. I haven't really seen too much of him. Eli Ricks, so happy for this brother. He made the roster. Congratulations to Eli Ricks, man. I was rooting for you, man. I was hoping they didn't just cut you like that. But Eli Ricks is on the roster. I'm happy. And here's the reality situation with Avonte Maddox, right? Somebody's going to have to replace this guy. Okay? So you got 7 corners on the roster. I'm going to just, blurt it out now. So you have Slay, you got Bradbury, you got Maddox, you got Goodrich, you got Jobe, and you got Ricks. You're going to have 8 corners for next year. Could Isaiah Rodgers potentially replace Maddox? I think so. But that's unfair to guys like Eli Ricks. You don't know what you have until you play them. It's unfair to guys like Josh Jobe. Oh, and also Kelly Ringo made the team as well. But what's funny? It's like, I don't want to say Kelly Ringo is ass. I want to give him a full year. I don't want to say he's ass. He was horrible in the preseason. But I don't think it's really entirely him. I don't know who this new DB coach is. It's like the other guy that, was Gannon's right-hand man, so to speak. He actually was upset that he didn't get the defensive coordinator job, so he went somewhere else. And this guy right here, I don't know who the guy is for the DB coach, but he's fucking garbage. Like, there's no way everything that they said was Kelly Ringo's weaknesses coming into the draft is still present through training camp. There got to be some kind of improvement. So I've seen Kelly Ringo play in college a little bit. I was impressed. I was actually, I was upset when we almost passed him. But Kelly Ringo's a good player. But in order for him to develop, you got to teach him the basics, like being able to consistently move, play the ball instead of the receiver, know where to use your eyes, like the basics of defensive back development. This nigga, I don't know who the fuck he's teaching. Because really, the only guy that really, let's think about it like this. Goodrich, happy that he made the team, whatever. But I didn't really see too much from him. Ricks could play. He just was injured a lot. Jobe has been on this team for like 2 years now. So he's had the development. And not to mention, guess what? You know who he played under? Our old defensive back coach. And look at how far he came. Look at how much he blossomed. Look at Reed Blankenship. You understand where I'm coming from? Look at guys like that. That's the product. I'm not saying it's in the entirety. Obviously, they got to put their own work in. So it's not kudos to the old defensive back coach. But look. I just, what's funny, and people are not going to admit this. And everyone will say, who's the back in our roster? It doesn't matter. Everything is important. Okay? So I noticed there's a huge difference between the way our defensive backs play this year, the way they played last year. Last year, our secondary was damn near best in the league. Even our back end of our roster, the fundamentals were there, right? Josiah Scott didn't play well at times. McPherson struggled at times. Jobe played really good in the little snippets he was in. Kavon Wallace was, had a slow start. I'd say like about 3/4 of the season. Then he started, to raise his level of play later on. By the way, Kavon Wallace is cut, and Justin Evans is kept. I don't know what the fuck Justin Evans did to make the roster over Kavon Wallace. right? Kevon Wallace been making plays. He's improving. He knows the system. I don't understand why you're putting Justin Evans over. I really don't. I don't understand it. Like Kevon Wallace was like, listen, am I telling you I trust Kevon Wallace to start at safety? Hell no. But is he good enough to be on his team and he knows the system for like, what, 3 seasons now? Yeah. He makes some plays. He makes some pretty good plays on special teams. He makes some really good tackles every now and then. Kevon Wallace was the obvious choice over Justin Evans. I don't understand why the hell Justin Evans made the team over Kevon Wallace. That shit makes no sense to me. Everybody was saying, oh, Kevon Wallace is coming along. The side was saying that shit. It was bullshit because they cut Wallace and put Justin Evans. I don't know what the fuck Justin Evans did to have Kevon. I don't understand it. What the fuck did he do to have Kevon Wallace cut? What did he do? I don't know what he did. He wasn't good at punt returning. He wasn't good at punt returning. I didn't hear shit about his name. I didn't hear him make no good tackles. I didn't hear him knock some balls down, paws. I didn't hear him catch no interceptions. I didn't hear nothing this nigga did to say that he should start over Kevon Wallace. Kevon Wallace, if anything, was more active than him in the preseason. He was more active than him in the preseason. Why the fuck are you going to prioritize a guy who just got here, hasn't really done much of anything, versus a guy that knows the system, done well in camp, and actually has made some plays in the preseason and actually played some plays towards the end of last year? I don't understand it. You see what I mean? If you're going to be mediocre, stay mediocre. If you're going to we want to be the best front office that the NFL has ever seen, then be that. But don't do stupid ass shit. Like cut a punter, leave Ariza sitting right there. I mean, it's a fucking layup to put him on the team. You don't do that. You cut Devon Allen. All you gotta do is make this nigga practice on catching fucking kickoff returns. That's all you gotta do. And he literally can be a Pro Bowl punt returner, kick return, whatever, if you do some fucking drills with him. You resign Michael Clay, who's fucking trash. I don't give a fuck if he's a nice guy. If he sucks at his job, fire the motherfucker. Just like you decided, you know what, we needed to go a different route at defensive coordinator. Even though the defensive back coach, he has history and he's done a great job with the cornerback group, and I see it with my own. I've seen the results of his work. I was impressed. I was much more impressed with his work last year than this guy's work this year. The brand new guy. Okay. This shit just frustrates me. It really does. And then you're gonna keep like fucking 7 or 8 defensive tackles, which is not necessary. So I'm gonna read you all who made the roster on the defensive tackle side of the ball. So obviously Jalen Carter made it. Fletcher Cox made it. Obviously Jordan Davis, Moro Jomo, who I think is on concussion protocol, but they drafted him. They like his athletic ability, so he's a project, but he might do well. Contavious Street. I haven't heard of this nigga since we signed. I forgot this nigga was on the fucking team. I don't know why he's on the team. He's hogging a roster space. Why do we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fucking defensive tackles? We don't need that many. We need like maybe 4 or 5. Are you fucking serious? Like 5, okay. You need 7 defensive tackles. Why? We got Marlon Tupolata, who barely plays. Maybe he does. I don't know. I haven't seen him. And Milton Williams, obviously, he's a really good defensive tackle. Everybody, why the fuck do you need 7 defensive tackles? You're trying to overstack positions we don't need. Like, who the fuck? Nobody asked for Isaiah Rodgers. We don't need Isaiah Rodgers. Not at this point in time. Okay? We got 2 young guys that can probably replace Maddox. It's either going to be Job or it's going to be Eli Ricks. Okay? And maybe Kelly Rango, but he's going to have to find somebody else to help him develop because this new DB coach we got, he's garbage. Okay? I can see there's a complete difference. It's the complete opposite of last year. Alright, here's another thing too, okay? I didn't mention this. I want to talk about Reed Blankenship and Sidney Brown. First off, I'm very proud of Reed Blankenship. He wasn't even supposed to play. It was like this Chauncey Gardner-Johnson situation. Even though we don't want to see guys get injured or get hurt or have anything happen to them health-wise, you know what I'm saying? The thing with Reed Blankenship is he would have never played. This man did pick off Aaron Rodgers not once, but he picked him off twice. And, sometimes he makes plays in coverage, other times he's more of like a hard hitter. But I'm telling you right now, I'm so proud of Reed Blankenship. Nobody in their mama saw this man coming. Nobody saw, pause on that one. Okay, I'm gonna check myself. But anyway, nobody and their mama saw this guy doing what he's doing now. In Preston camp, he's really been switched out. He's damn near been first team the whole camp. And this man, I'm telling you right now, I don't know what the hell he done in college. I don't know what the hell the scouts were looking at, how they bypassed this man. But I'm telling you right now, he might be the greatest undrafted free agent ever. And yeah, you're going to talk about Priest Holmes, talk about Adrian Peterson, but who the fuck saw this guy doing anything what he's doing now? This man is, potentially could be like a top 10 safety in this league, maybe top 5 if he plays his cards right. I'm also talking about Sidney Brown, came out of Illinois. The only concern about him starting, which you know what's funny, in the beginning I'm like, he's too short. But when I see him play, and when I see this guy play, he plays ferocious. He got range, he's smart, he got great play recognition, great pursuit. He is such a smart, savvy, active individual with a high motor. You understand where I'm coming from? So, at the end of the day, I've realized this. Okay, let's just say he's too small to play. Well, guess what? I think he's earned the starting safety spot next to Reed Blankenship. Worst case scenario, let's just say he gets showed out by these quarterbacks. You guys still got Terrell Edmonds behind him. Terrell Edmonds is a pretty good player. I haven't heard really too much what he's been doing in camp, outside of him kind of flip-flopping on the depth chart. But, what's this guy? Yeah, Terrell Edmonds, worst case scenario, he's a starting safety. He can replace Sidney Brown. So now I'm like, you know what? We need to get this guy a chance. I don't think, he's working his ass off, and I think we need to. He deserved this. He earned the starting spot. He earned the starting position. I think we need to give it to him, to be honest with you. Okay. Let's go back to the wide receivers real quick. Okay. So again, like I said, I don't know why the fuck we only got 4. If you bring all his receivers in, I'm assuming you want a 5th receiver. Johnny King got cut. It's unfortunate. He actually played good the whole preseason. It's just that, it's too much competition. Deion Kane played really good when he came back with the Colts, but like, you're injured the whole time. And I'm not. Last year I was mad as fuck that we cut him and put him on a practice squad. I don't think that was cool. And he definitely should have got the nod over Greg Ward, in my opinion, because he earned it. This man's been catched like crazy. He played pretty good against the Colts. When I say that I'm not mad at him being cut, I understand it. Okay? Hazelwood made a couple catches here and there. I think he struggled the last game. Nagata played good Joseph Nagata played good every single game except for the last one. The last one he was just, he was MIA and dropping passes, not coming up with the catch. Nagata played bad the last preseason game. So I'm not surprised he's cut. Because, in my opinion, let's just say you put a 5th receiver there. I'm putting Devin Allen up there. Right, which I would have kept him on the fucking roster. But, Freddie Swain was just there as a body. I was tripping on social media. I was like, why the fuck are we signing this? We got, bad receivers. But, they need some depth because, they have to play their 3rd or 4th stringers on the last Colts game. Here's another thing I want to talk about, too. I want to talk about this Anthony Richardson shit. Okay? Let me be honest with you. A lot of Eagles fans are overreacting. You gotta remember, he's not supposed to be our fucking friend. I want everybody to understand this too. The difference between Devontae Adams did, pushing the fucking cameraman, that was some shit like, whoa. But this one, okay, he can talk his shit. He's on the opposing side of the football. He's not on our fucking team. Let him talk his shit. Why does it matter? Let him do a little Flappy Bird shit, whatever he was doing. Let him go do it. Who gives a fuck? Hey, he scored and everyone said, well, he's the 34th. Who gives a fuck? He's on the other side. He's not supposed to be our friend. Please, stop overreacting over little shit. Like I say, so many of y'all niggas overreacted over Juju Smith-Schuster. And yeah, as an Eagles fan, we gotta stick by our players, but I thought this shit was funny. Right? If anything, I thought the 49ers, what they was doing was annoying. Because they were just fucking crying and bitching about a game that happened 2-3 weeks ago. And they was talking shit about it in June. And the shit was over with. I'm like, but yeah, it seemed like y'all gave more leniency to the goddamn 49ers than Juju Smith, who was funny. The guy was funny. He was actually funny trolling. Obviously, I'm going to stand by my players. I stand by Bradbury. He's still a top 5 corner in this league, period. We know Bradbury is good. But the D1, he's on the other side. Who gives a fuck? They're supposed to talk shit. Our responsibility as a team is to shut them up. That's our job. It's to shut them up, make them play bad. And shit, guess what? We got revenge on Juju Smith-Schuster, who, if I'm not mistaken, plays for the Patriots in Foxborough. So let's shut his ass down there and make sure Bradbury is on his ass the whole game. And just call it a day. But y'all Eagles fans are over here like, I didn't like that. He was a dick. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, let this nigga celebrate. Who gives a fuck? Who cares? He didn't stick the middle finger to the crowd. He didn't do what Stephon Diggs did in a Patriots game and said like, you shut the fuck up. He didn't do none of that. He did the fly Eagles fly shit trolling. Who gives a fuck? Stop bitching about shit that is just not relevant. It's fucking dumb. Also, before I run out of camera battery, because I'm gonna be talking for a long ass time. I hope I'm not, but most likely it's going to be. Let's talk about the Jonathan Taylor thing, okay? At first I thought it was bullshit. I'm like, we got Gainwell, who, I don't agree with him starting, but it looks like they're going in that direction. But I don't agree with him starting. I think Swift should be the starter. That's why you brought him in here. Otherwise, you just be getting Penny or get some running backs for depth and call it a day, right? You brought Swift over here to be a starter, so you need to commit to that, okay? You got Swift, you got Boston Scott, who, I'm glad he's never cut because this dude actually can play. If anything happens, let's just say Boston Scott be our starter running back, I legitimately will be comfortable with that. Y'all calling me crazy. I'll be comfortable with him being a starter running back. Like, let's just say if anything happens to God forbid, obviously, but anything happens to 2 running backs and he has to start, I don't give a fuck. I don't mind. He's a really good player. He's a giant killer. And then we got Penny, who I don't understand was chosen over Sermon, right? Everybody said, well, he fumbled. The nigga had a touchdown the next fucking play. You tell me he can't make one mistake? If he bounces back from it, why not? And I think everybody overblown the Colts performance. He got stuffed to the backfield a lot. But you also have to remember this, right? And this is something I'm going to be talking about throughout this year. And this is something I'm very, very concerned about. I'm concerned about Brian Johnson's play calling. I understand you can't completely deviate from the RPO system. I understand that. But at the same time, Jalen Hurts can throw the football. And sooner or later, the RPO shit, it's going to be easy to stop because it's a very elongated process. It's very long. It stretches out time. You have to be able to make quick decisions. Okay. You can't do that if you're literally saying, okay, I'm going to stare at the defense, see what they do, to hand it off, I'm going to run. No, that's good. Okay, that's the foundation of your offense, is fine. But you can't do what the fuck Steichen did, because I don't think Steichen was doing all the right things either. I thought he should have had some single back plays. Where the fuck are the single back plays? Where are the single back trips, the single back the single back bunch formation? Where the fuck are they? We got the receivers to do it. We got the depth to do it. Why aren't we doing it? So I'm gonna give Brian Johnson the benefit of the doubt and say, you know what? Let me see what he does week 1. He can't give out all the sauce out there in the preseason. He gotta look like. Hopefully that's what it is. I doubt it, but let's just let's give him a shot. Let me see how he coordinates this offense to see if there's a difference between him and Steichen. I'm not saying Steichen was decent. Give him an A-. But again, those single back formations, you gotta have some shit with like, yo, I'm handing it straight from under the center. I'm not having my guys go block from the gut all the time, because that wears out your offensive line. That's a lot of work. So sometimes it's good to just a nice simple handoff with the quarterback under center. But I don't understand why we don't do that. I think it could really open up this offense and really just expose a lot of mismatches. And so far, it looks like Steichen 2.0 to me, and I'm very concerned about this. So, Brian Johnson, you better get your shit together. You better have a bunch of fucking single back formation plays that you didn't show in the preseason, because if this coming being Steichen 2.0, you're going to hear another rant from me on this goddamn channel. I promise you that. Okay? So, moving on from that, Sermon played better than Penny. Okay? Traditionally, is Rashad Penny a better player than Sermon? Yeah. But Rashad Penny can't really stay healthy. Okay? So, and he didn't play well in a regular season. He didn't play well he didn't really play well. He had been, I think the second preseason game against the Browns, he had a couple of decent sized runs. But Sermon's not better. Penny's not better than Sermon. And we're talking about right now. Obviously, overall, Penny's a better player than Sermon. We're talking about this preseason. We're talking about as putting on the Eagles uniforms. I'm going with Trey Sermon. Right? What's the worst case scenario? We got Gainwell. We got Swift. We got Boston Scott. All three of those guys are going to play over him. He's going to be the fourth option. So why not? And yeah, he runs pretty good, man. Like I don't like the cut. I really don't. I would have cut Penny, but you know they did what they did. It is what it is. Hopefully Penny can stay healthy so we can see him return back to his top form. Because I wasn't impressed with the regular season. I'm being honest with the preseason. As the Eagles so far, I'm not impressed with Penny. Okay. Yeah. So let's move on from that. So what else was talking about? Okay, Jonathan Taylor. Let's have a conversation about him. First, I thought it was bullshit. I'm like, why the fuck would the Eagles go after Jonathan Taylor if they have all these running backs in the room? We got the best running back depth in the league. Why are we going after these guys? It makes no sense. Okay. Now the Jets have the best running back depth in the league, but they only have two. They only got Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall, which is stupid. They should have Breece Hall be the starter and get like another solid depth piece behind it. But you know the Jets are fucking greedy. They're gonna do all that shit, and most likely Aaron Rodgers is probably gonna make it to the AFC Championship and get his ass bounced the fuck up out of here. You know, I think he's gonna play better, way better than he did in the Packers last year because they didn't have no weapons. He got plenty of weapons on both sides of the ball, so ain't no motherfucking excuses. And he got Sauce Gardner on that defense. There's no excuse for Rodgers not to make the Super Bowl. But I think he's going to go to the AFC Championship and he'll get his ass bounced the fuck out. That's my opinion. They can stack their team up all you want. You can do some dumbass shit. I know as a Jets fan, I would have been ranting like a motherfucker. But like, yo, I know we not just bench our fucking, our friend. This guy show he's a franchise running back. We just bench this nigga for fucking Dalvin Cook. We don't know Breece Hall stealing. Bryce Hall stealing. Or Breece, I'm going to say Breece Hall. We don't know Breece Hall stealing. But we know for the damn fact that's your franchise. I would have been ranting like a motherfucker. But I'm not a Jets fan. I don't give a fuck. Go ahead and put as many players you think is going to be possible for this team. Y'all still ain't going to do shit. Okay? Moving on with that. We're talking about Jonathan Taylor. First of all these reporters doing what the fuck they normally do. You know, they just, you know, spewing bullshit. It's obvious that we don't need them. Then I'm hearing that we was actually making an offer for this guy. I'm like, what the fuck? It's kind of like, you know, reminiscent about when we was trying to make offers for Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson. It's like, you know, not giving a guy another chance, which would make sense. Give him another chance. He showed some promise. Yeah, he played through really bad when they counted the most in the Buccaneer game. But, like, there's something to build here. Give him another shot and see what happens. Okay? And I'm glad that Russell Wilson didn't want to be an Eagle. I'm glad that Deshaun Watson shit didn't happen. We got the right guy playing quarterback. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait for him to play this season. But moving on to the subject I was having a conversation about. So Jonathan Taylor is not necessary for this offense. He's not. And explain to me this. How the fuck is it fair to Gainwell? Gainwell's been working his ass off. How is it fair to him to be a third string running back? You gotta understand, like, I don't understand. We was legitimately calling in for this guy. Why? Why? Like, I thought it was like, okay, it's Eagles fans and the reporters saying stupid shit. It don't mean nothing. It's just like the shit where I talk about the Aerodol situation. It's the same thing. Then I realized there's actually some validity to this shit. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, yo, my mom like, yo, you cannot be fucking serious. You tell me you're refusing to get, oh, this is what took you over the fucking edge. And I'm going to write about this. I don't give a fuck who get mad or not. Now listen, I'm going to give Howie the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say, you know what? The Cardinals and Jonathan Gannon, they probably, you know, they don't like you. So that's probably why they didn't give them to you for a good price. They probably was going to like, yo, you better give me a first round pick or some shit like that. They probably didn't want to give them to the Eagles, or they made the price so goddamn high that Howie was like, nah, I got to move on. Howie missed out. And I'm going to say this very loosely because, again, there might be bad blood with Jonathan Gannon and that the Cardinals front office with the tampering shit. They had to give a pick back to us. So they probably, man, fuck you. We ain't give you nothing. Right? And especially not a piece that could send a team over the top. So Giants got Isaiah Simmons for a 7th round fucking pick. If that's not robbery, I don't know what the fuck is. They gave up Isaiah Simmons, a guy who can play linebacker and is fast enough to play nickel. A very prominent, if he plays in a situation with a defensive coordinator that knows what the fuck he's doing, Because they got Rallis, which was Nick Rallis, I think it's our DC, is their DC, who was our former linebacker coach. And if this man gets somebody decent, yo, Isaiah Simmons is going to be a Pro Bowl. He doesn't have a weak, like, he can do everything on the football field. So I was fucking pissed. I'm like, this nigga didn't bring a reason in this motherfucker. He about to call for Jonathan Taylor, a nigga who we clearly don't fucking need. And I think that's very disrespectful to Gainwell, because I think Gainwell should be, within the next couple of years, be the eventual starter of this football team. I just think that he needs to be more physical running the football. But I want him to be the eventual starter of this team. I'm not going to sit up there and fucking push Gainwell down to the third. You got to be fucked up. Nah. At least we could do is have Gainwell be like a second stringer. That way he stays involved. I'm not pushing him down the third depth chart because we being greedy assholes. But Giants, you know, kudos to them. It ain't going to mean shit. I mean, it's going to improve their defense. But they still got some ways to go. That offensive line still needs some work. And Hyatt, I think, is a promising prospect. But the Giants still got work to do as far as developing their roster to be real contenders. I think they might could win a playoff game just like last year. But that's about it. I don't think they. I mean, unless if they're not facing us or they're facing like a mid-tier, like let's just say for instance, if they was playing the Saints, I think they could pull off an upset. I really do. Why not? Saquon's healthy. You got Hyatt. You got this other guy, Slayton. You got Darren Waller. Why not? And then also on defense, you got, you know, still Dexter Lawrence and some of these other guys back at Adoree Jackson, who was pretty good. He was injured last year. The sky's the limit for the Giants. But the Giants, in order for them to be true contenders, they need more on their roster. They need to really patch up their offensive line. And it's going to be hard for them to do so because they gave all this goddamn money to Daniel Jones. And they pulled the trigger at the wrong time. It was too goddamn early. But hey, it's the Giants. I ain't complaining about it. If they want to fuck themselves over and put themselves in a hole, I ain't bitching about it. So long story short, because I'm going to end up just cursing the whole video if I just really continue on this, the Jonathan Taylor saga was stupid. Okay, so according to sources, Jonathan Taylor's going to stay a Colt. The Dolphins had a considerable interest. I don't know why the fuck. Explain to me this. You got two guys for the 49ers that can produce on your offense. You got Jeff Wilson's pretty good. You got Mostert, who's pretty good. Why the fuck do you need another running back? Just explain. Why do you need another running back? Dolphins is so goddamn greedy. They don't know what the fuck. They just put anybody on their goddamn team. Okay? Waddle, he worked out. Tyreek Hill, he worked out. Cool. Tua, you know, hopefully he stay concussion free. I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to be a really good player. I think he's going to be a future Pro Bowler. God forbid any serious concussions happen to him. You got a future with this team. And Jalen Ramsey can still play. Got a future with this team, but you can't just put any of your fucking players just because, oh, they got a big name. Like, no, you got enough for, you got Mostert and fucking Jeff Wilson, you're fine. What the fuck? You don't need another goddamn running back. Calm your ass down. Shit. But yeah, that was pretty much it with that. And I don't know if Montgomery from the Bears either played for Detroit or he plays for the he either played for Detroit or Miami. I don't remember. So don't quote me on that. I'm going to move on. But yeah, that whole Jonathan Taylor saga, I don't think we're getting him. He's going to stay a Colt. Thank God. We didn't need this man on the team. You don't need to be fucking up Gainwell. We don't need to be fucking up DeAndre Swift. We don't need him. Okay? But yeah, so going back to the Colts game, I was like, who the fuck is 57? Because this nigga's garbage. He's legit garbage. He's ass. It turned out to be Van Sermon. So his ass was cut. I don't fucking care. That nigga was trash. He was absolute garbage. Nigga was missing tackles. He's allowing catches. Like, this nigga was garbage. And this was a scouter report. Scouter report was like, okay, well, he needs to work on coverage, but he's a hard hitter and he's very athletic. I didn't see none of that shit on the football field. I didn't see nothing. I didn't see nothing from Van Sumo. That nigga was garbage. He was an absolute hot ass. Pause. He was garbage. He was fucking trash. I'm happy his ass got cut. I really am. Him, I don't mind him getting cut. Cool. You know what I'm saying? I don't have no problem with him getting cut. Okay? So we'll move on with that. I'm trying to figure out what else I want to have a discussion about. So, linebacker position, do I trust Zach Cunningham? And we got Christian Ellis, who showed flashes, but I mean, we really need to. Nakobe Dean can't be just oh, by the way, I just remembered because I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to talk about. So Nicholas Morrow's been cut. That's not a bad thing because he really didn't do shit. Like he had some moments where he looked like he was competent, and other moments like he just was like just not good enough. So I'm disappointed because he had 100 tackles last year. I'm like, oh, okay, this would be like a TJ Edwards kind of piece, and he can actually cover. Nigga got cut. So like, I mean, maybe he's a better game player than the training camp, but you just can't be that bad in training camp and then think you're going to get a roster spot. It's just you're mid during the preseason games. It just wasn't going to happen. So Tanner McKee made the roster, thank God. You didn't get traded away, none of that, right? And then we're gonna talk about Derek Barnett. Let me set some thumbs. Cool. So Derek Barnett trash little fucking ass. So all this nigga's been doing in the fucking camp and in the preseason is getting into fights. I don't think he's playing during the preseason, but the training camp, all this nigga's doing is getting this nigga picking up exactly where the fuck he left off last year. Okay? This nigga is lucky that Howie very unwisely, I'm going to be nice to Howie because Howie's been trying. And Howie Capone, I got respect. I don't like some of the shit you've been doing with this roster. Like, it like sometimes you putting too much effort to areas that don't need that much effort in. Like, sometimes you feel like, okay, you're on point. Or this move makes sense. All the time, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, the tight end thing, I mean, you could have had another linebacker. You could have signed Reza. Yeah, whatever. I'm not going to curse out Howie Capone. Howie Capone's been doing his thing, okay? I ain't gonna curse you out, brother. I'm not. So, I want to talk about Derek Barnett. You ungrateful motherfucker. Let me tell you something right now. You don't even belong on this fucking roster. How dare you talk about some, I'm gonna demand a trade because I'm not getting enough playing time. You don't fucking deserve any playing time. You don't. You got to sign Reddick, right? You already got him. You got Nolan Smith. You don't deserve any playing time. So I'm not getting enough snaps. Somebody need to snap your ass out of it, nigga. Cause you not fucking what is it? What's the other defensive ends that's leading this? You not goddamn Myles Garrett, nigga. Who the fuck you think you is? You garbage. You're trash. All you're good for is getting into fights. That's all I hear your name is. Oh, Derek Barnett starting a fight. That's all I hear your fucking name doing. Just starting fights. That's it. Not making plays, not getting sacks, not getting personal equipment. It's just fucking up. But you want to say to be rewarded with more playing time? You fucking big ass crybaby. You lucky your ass. You lucky that Howie stupidly signed your bum ass to a 2-year deal. How fucking dare you, nigga? We should have had Ngakoue from the Colts to replace your bum ass. How fucking dare you sit up here and talk about some, I need more playing time. No, bitch. You shouldn't even be having fucking Eagles uniform. You should not be rocking no goddamn Kelly Greens on, man. Take that shit off. Pause. Take that shit off, bruh. What the hell wrong with you crying? Anything more playing time. So, Howie's like, alright, I ain't gonna play with your ass. We gonna stick out a trade for you. Nobody wants this thing because this nigga hasn't done anything. That's what the fuck. Who the fuck this nigga think he is, bro? Do you think he Aaron Donald or Michael Parsons? Who do you think you are, bro? Who do you think you are? You lucky that you're getting any playing time. Who the fuck you think you are? You gotta earn your spot here at Philly. Get this nigga the fuck up out of here. Somebody just trade him. I don't give a fuck for another 7th round pick, man. Get this nigga the fuck up out the building, bro. Just get him out the building. Go sign Ngakoue or like somebody. Get this nigga out the fucking building, bro. Just get him out. Just bye. Have a nice day. Just get his ass out, right? It might not happen. I think they're gonna try to work him to get like about what 12 snaps. I think that's too much. Get this motherfucker like 8 snaps the most and that's it. And if his ass still crying, let this nigga go. Like Rick, take the cap hit and release him. But I'm so sick of this nigga. Like it was. Like, I'm not mad because he got his pay cut. He fucking deserved it. We don't need to be paying you all that goddamn money to sit up there and start fights and do like unnecessary penalties. We need you to actually get paid for you to play. You're not doing that. So Derek Barnett, when his ass is up out of here, man, I'm gonna be celebrating for real. So hope you guys have a great day. That's pretty much it, man. Like the next video, we're gonna be. Well, obviously, I still got to put in the last button episode that for a hot minute, and I'll update you guys if anything changes. This video will be coming out So yeah, that's pretty much it. Then we just going full circle, full steam ahead. Eagles video week. Every time we play, I'm doing a video on it as always. All right. Brother got big dreams. Don't have a big bank account. Make sure to go fund link down in the description. All right. So play till I die. That's still out. I don't want to talk about the music shit. It's stressing me the fuck out. Just let me keep working and I'm doing the best I can. All right. That's pretty much it, y'all. I ain't got nothing else to say, man. Like, that's 53-man roster. We up. Got the Patriots. We trying to whoop ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, Mac Jones should be having like 4 interceptions by the end of the next game. So, here's what it is. All right, I'm out of here, y'all. Peace. Bye.